right-wing podcaster, show host, propagandist Steve Bannon said something during a recent segment on his show that is super interesting because it's kind of true. Now, what he's pushing for with this would be disastrous, but the essence of what he's saying is actually tapping into something accurate, which is not something that's normal with Steve Bannon. And what he's saying is that House Republicans, and he's responding to the debt ceiling agreement that ended up getting through the Senate, and we're going to avert the defaulting on the country's debt because of the suspension of the debt ceiling based on this agreement. And he's unhappy with that because he doesn't think the House Republicans got enough concessions from Biden with this agreement. And so then what he's talking about in response to that is that Republicans distract their base with throwing red meat to them, talking about going after the FBI director and impeaching everyone under the sun in Biden's administration and getting access to the January 6th footage because we're going to reveal the truth of January 6th or something. How that's distracting their base from the fact that they're not following through on the promises, on the goals they've laid out, including getting these massive concessions from Biden. And that's what Steve Bannon's unhappy with. So Steve Bannon wishes that Republicans, as I'll show you, would follow through on horrible things. I don't support that. But as I see it, House Republicans distract probably from the fact they're not doing that too, but also from the fact that they don't put forward policy. They don't push for policy that would actually improve the lives of their constituents. So instead it has to be, let's impeach Joe Biden and let's, as James Comer is always talking about, uncover this bribery scheme that doesn't exist and all of that. And it is an attempt to distract. And Steve Bannon identifies that. Wild.
The Democrats know how to govern smash mouth. You don't see them surrendering. And here's what they won't do. And I've got to give the progressive left a hat tip on this. They don't go back and try to sugarcoat it to their people. If they got to give up something, they got to do something. Here, they're actually lying to you like you're a fool and an idiot, and they're going to throw out a couple of shiny toys. Oh, let's get the Ray indictment. Let's get the Ray subpoena out there. Let's get Fox all worked up on that. And let's throw the J6. Let's just randomly put the J6. They've had it ever since Tucker got fired. They've had it forever. Or even when Murdoch shut Tucker down after the first or second night. They've had it. They could put it at any time. They strategically did it, the shiny toy, because they think you're a moron. They think you can go, yeah. Oh, let's go impeach about 10 people. You can't, when you've got the biggest hammer you're ever going to have, the biggest leverage you're ever going to have, the debt ceiling, because it cuts them off from spending money. When you've got that and you're telling me you're going to impeach people.
So what's super interesting about this is Steve Bannon just had Marjorie Greene on his show to talk about impeaching people, and he was on board with it. Here's this.
Need help. I really need help from you all at home, and I really need you to join the impeachment team. And you can do that by going to impeachmentteam.com. You can be a citizen co-sponsor. Join the impeachment team, impeachmentteam.com, and you can help me move the conference. They need to hear your voice.
What do you mean a co-sponsor? This is great. What do you mean a co-sponsor? They go there, they can sign up and become a co-sponsor?
They can sign on to these articles of impeachment.
So she's impeaching so many different people, or trying to, unsuccessfully. And Steve Bannon, not consistent because he was really on board with it there just a few days ago. But with what he's saying here, it's true that House Republicans clearly don't think highly of their own voters because they're constantly insulting their intelligence by throwing out all these distractions. Again, Steve Bannon thinks it's distracting from the fact that they're not following through on a devastating policy decision to attempt to tank the country's economy by allowing it to default on its debt if they don't get these damaging policy concessions of adding all these different work requirements and cutting funding to all these crucial programs and all of that. And so he wishes they would follow through on that. That would be bad. But the underlying point of it's a distraction is absolutely accurate. It's just actually a distraction from a little bit of that because they don't actually want to have to follow through on some of those threats probably. And also from the fact that the policies they push for aren't beneficial to the constituents that they are supposed to serve. The people who have given them the power that they now have aren't actually being served by these politicians. So instead it has to be, oh, Hunter Biden. It has to be, oh, the drag queens are coming for you. Oh, CRT is a big threat. Oh, wokeism. And as long as people can be talking about that and freaking out about those things that often are made up problems, they won't be asking the Marjorie Greens, the Kevin McCarthys, etc., why they don't support policies, why they don't push for policies, implement policies that would actually benefit their constituents' lives. And maybe the voters won't think about the difference in governance, from the actual difference in governance, when you look at the Democratic Party compared to the Republican Party. The way that while Democrats have plenty of flaws, they've actually implemented policies to lower prescription drug costs, to more properly and reasonably tax those at the top of our economic ladder, to expand ACA or extend ACA coverage, to invest in green energy, lower energy costs, invest in infrastructure, the largest investment in infrastructure since the Eisenhower Highway Program. And that's actually what politicians that we voted in should be doing for us. That's what they should be doing. Republicans don't do that. And so instead it has to be, let's go after FBI Director Christopher Wray and investigate Biden out the wazoo and talk about wokeism nonstop. It is a distraction, but it's the distraction that Steve Bannon takes part in every single day on his show.